let's talk about these malfunctions. A stage 1, type 1 malfunction, phase 1 malfunction, if you want to call it stage, type, phase, whatever. I guess again, it depends on which article you're reading. It's known as a failure to fire. Now what would cause a failure to fire?
Bad round.
What else? Yeah, so we didn't failure to feed.
Failure to feed, failure to fire, double.
All these different terms, you get all these words all mixed up. So if you talk about failure to eject, failure to extract, different malfunctions altogether. Things that might cause a stage 1 type 1 malfunction. A bad primer, failure to feed. In other words, you didn't really load around in the chamber to begin with, okay? Maybe we just kind of halfway put our magazine in when we were going through the loading process, drew our weapon, thought we charged it and holstered back up without doing a press check or anything like that, okay? So we had a failure to feed, a bad primer, hell, it might be out of battery somewhat. So how do we clear that malfunction?
Tap, roll, rack.
Tap, roll, rack. The roll is optional because if the ejector might mess up or whatever the case may be, and if we are going to roll it, which way do we roll it?
Ejection port down.
The ejection port facing down. Now I don't recommend that you flip your weapon upside down to clear it, okay? Because gravity can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And if you turn the weapon completely upside down to try to clear a malfunction with a pincher grip, the round that's coming up off the top of the magazine might try to work its way down because that's the way gravity works, all right? And then you'll cause another type of malfunction. So I'm going to clear a stage 1 real quick, okay? So again, shooter coach setup. Before I clear a stage 1 type 1 malfunction, I'm waiting on my coach to say what? Front sight focus, increase pressure, we get a click instead of a bang. I tap, roll, if I'm going to roll, with the ejection port facing down. That's the way the rounds come out. With a C-clamp on the back of the weapon, right towards the rear of the slide. Make sure I've got enough room right there for the rear sights to go through, depending on if you have raised rear sights or not, with a punch-pull motion to clear that malfunction, okay? Reevaluate for no threat. If I were to do it with my support hand, it's the same exact thing. I'm waiting on my coach to give me a threat. Right out on target, increase pressure while focusing on the front sight. Got a click instead of a bang. So we tap to make sure the magazine is actually seated so that if it didn't feed to begin with, it will feed now. Again, rolling is optional. And if I were going to do it while holding it in my left hand, I actually get to roll to the inside of my body this time so the ejection port is facing down. All right? C-clamp on the back of the slide with a punch-pull motion. Reevaluate the target for a no-threat situation. Okay? Any questions on a failure to fire? Now, a stovepipe is a failure to eject. It did extract, it extracted the shell, it extracted the casing, but it didn't eject completely. Now, what could cause the casing not to eject through the ejector? I think you said a little while ago, limp wrist, right? It might have been a squib load, which means a little less go juice inside that casing, which means the slide did not retract all the way. Whatever the case may be, we experienced short recoil in the weapon, which means the slide didn't come all the way back, all right? So the slide came out just enough to extract whatever might have been inside the chamber. But it didn't come back so far that the casing was ejected through the ejection port. So the ending result, as my slide is going back into the forward position, would be a casing that's stuck through the ejection port. Like so, okay? It tried to do it, but it wasn't able to make it. And the process got stuck. Now in the past, we've cleared these malfunctions by just grabbing a hold of it and pulling it out, flicking it out, or raking it with our hand. The problem with that is if it's short recoil that caused it, it might also mean that once I pull it out of there, it's going to go forward on an empty chamber. So to clear a stovepipe, we're going to do it the same way we did a little while ago. However, the roll is important here. This is where you would roll the weapon. The roll is no longer optional in a stage 2 type 2 malfunction, all right? So I notice my sight picture looks different. Oh hell, there's a casing sticking out of the ejection port. So to clear this, we're going to tap, make sure the magazine's seated. I am going to roll it because I need gravity here. Pull the slide back, allowing it to fall down to the ground. and going back forward, okay? In this way, I ensure that I do pick a round up off the top of the magazine and chamber it. All right, so let's look at another. Now, they call it a double feed, but if you think about the mechanics of this weapon, it is impossible for it to load 2 rounds at the same time. It's not loading 2 rounds at the same time. So what is a double feed, really? Yeah, more than likely, your extractor did not extract that casing from the chamber. It's not always a guarantee that it's going to be an empty casing inside the chamber. Either way, the weapon's not going to function because there's something in the feedway there, all right? And we've got to clear it. So it's also known as a feedway clearance. A stage 3, type 3 feedway clearance, known as a double feed, also known as a failure to extract. So, it's got a lot of terms. It's got a lot of magazine articles written about it, so it's got to have all these terms. To set this up, I'm going to insert one of those inert rounds in the chamber there. I'm going to take a magazine that's got a few on the top, put it in the mag well, and I'm going to let the slide go forward. It's the only time you'll ever hear me say ride the slide forward. We want to prevent all of those all the plastic parts of those inert rounds from jamming up the inside of our weapon, okay? Now, I'm going to make sure I have additional magazines in my mag pouch to clear this malfunction. And keep in mind, anything we do in our primary hand, guess what? Alright, so that's what it looks like. So when you take a look, you'll see the double feed there for the failure to extract. Alright, so what's our first step? We're going to lock the slide back to get all that pressure off the magazine. Now we can strip it out of there, but we want to reduce the amount of time it's going to take. Right now, everything's under spring tension. So as soon as I realize sight picture looks different, sights look closer to my face than usual, quick peek confirms all my worst fears. I've got a failure to extract here. Now, given time and distance and everything else, I'm going to be able to clear this malfunction. If I was this close from me to you, I might want to consider another step, all right? And I'll cover with you how to go through these steps a little bit quicker in just a little bit. I don't want to give all these secrets away right now. So I want you to go the long way about this, both primary and support hand. First step, lock, to relieve all the pressure of that spring, okay? Next step's what? Mag out. Now, a couple of different schools of thought here. Some people would say, mag comes out, it's on the ground, forget about it. It might have caused our issues. I'm of the thinking that maybe that's the only magazine I have. Maybe I'm limited. I've got 3 mags, and I don't have a whole lot of ammunition. I want every bit I can get. So I understand the thought, strip it, let it lie, but if it were the only one I've got, I need it. So I'm going to take it out, but I'm going to maintain it. You can do whatever you want to do with that. Some people just keep it in their hand. Some people tuck it up underneath the arm, all right? What's our next step? We're going to work the action to make sure we clear it, okay? A quick peek to verify feedway's clear. Now what? Reinsert magazine. Make sure everything's going to function properly for me, okay? So reinsert and charge, okay? Everybody got it? Now that's a lot of steps. So let's set it up and look at another way. I would prefer to do it that way if I had the time. But what if I didn't have the time? What if I were as close from me to you? Throw the gun out. Throw the gun out and run? Hey. So a quick check, hell, and we're at combat distance right now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold down the mag catch button, okay? And in this one, you are actually going to get rid of the magazine. But we're talking about combat distance. If I had another magazine on person, I got to get this sucker out. I got to clear this weapon. So keep this in mind. We're going to unload it and then reload it. So we're going to hold down the mag catch button, cycle, and then reload the weapon. Everybody got it?
Although malfunction clearing is a basic level skill, in your tactical training, performing this skill in both your primary and support hand is vital, as you may not always have the opportunity to switch back into your primary hand to clear all malfunctions. The best way to clear malfunctions is also having a sound understanding of how the weapon operates. basic normal operations of your firearm will also help you problem solve when clearing malfunctions. In a combat situation, it's not something you're going to want to sit there and try to figure out. So practicing while not under stress is the best way to build on new skills. So you can practice this with several repetitions. It's recommended that you use inert rounds during these practices. This student is typically a right-hand shooter, but he's working through the problem with his left hand. Avoid switching back to your primary hand when you're having a hard time, so that you do build those skills necessary to utilize your support hand. Clearing malfunctions in your support hand is vital, as you may not have time in combat to switch hands to clear.